Memoir in baseball and life. Dusty Baker, outstanding player, two-time All-Star, also a three-time Manager of the Year, of course. 26 years as a manager for 5 different teams. Won a World Series as a Dodger, as a player in 1981, and as a manager in 2022. Still with the Giants now as a special advisor. We welcome in Dusty Baker himself. Dusty, it's Brian Kenny. A pleasure to have you here on the show. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, man, no problem.
You tell me, Crossroads, first of all, the Robert Johnson song. Is there a message? I know you're a worldly fellow. Where did Crossroads come from?
Yeah, there's always a message. And the message is all my life I've been at a crossroads. You know, got to make one decision or another one. And I actually went to the crossroads down in Mississippi with Elvin Bishop visiting Morgan Freeman's place, and went to the crossroads, got out of the car, and imagine Robert Johnson doing the devil down there. So it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
I can hear it playing in the background.
Yeah.
We've been talking a lot about the Dodgers recently. We lost Davey Lopes a few weeks back. We had Ron Say on. So just tell me, it does trigger memories of those great Dodger clubs. What do you remember best, and what do you try to get in the book on that?
Well, what I remember best is, camaraderie that we had, and the feeling that we went out there every day and we were going to win. Not a chance to win, but, we had a serious attitude. A lot of people didn't like us. We knew it. I didn't like the Dodgers when I was playing on the Braves, but they still found a way to beat us all the time. And, that's what I remember most. It was really heartbreaking to go to David Lopes' funeral, a few weeks ago, because you realize your own, that death is right around the corner from you, that's a song by Tupac, is death around the corner. And it really is. And that's one of the reasons why I wrote the book, because I don't want to, to be gone. Like half my friends are checking out, and then all of a sudden somebody writes a book and it's not right. And I mean, just the other day, I was thinking about Bobby Cox and Ted Turner. And it was almost like they planned to leave together, And boy, it's death is closing in on us, but you have to continue to live your life, but also try to leave an impact on your family and people around the world, because there's a lot of people that need hope.
Right.
And that's what I was trying to convey, in the book. It hadn't been easy, but life's been good, and everything was for a point and a purpose. And the point and purpose was at the end to try to go to heaven.
Yeah. Nice. You've had a rich life. When you were playing, again, you were a hell of a player. Again, people are really young was like, Dusty could really play. At what point, or did you ever think you'd be a manager? Like, when did that ever start to occur to you, if at all?
Never. Really? And I didn't want to coach. I didn't want to manage. I didn't want anything to do with the game at the end there. But Al Rosen is the one that kind of handpicked me, to be a future coach and manager. And he told me it would take 5 years to get the player out of me. And it was 5 years and a day until I was named, the manager. And basically, one of the crossroads that happened in my life early was the fact that my parents got divorced, which kind of forced me at the time, being the oldest of 5, to sign a professional contract out of high school, which my dad was totally against. And then in my own situation, I got divorced and I was at a crossroads. I didn't know what to do. And that's why, I was a broker. For a while I passed the Series 6, Series 22, and I was taking the Series 7. Then the stock market crashed 87, and I was like, well, hey man, it's the wrong time to get into the market. I wanted to move back to Northern California. And I was at a meeting at the winter meetings, and Al Campanis, not Al Campanis, after Al said, what he said about, we weren't qualified for upper management jobs. And then Al Rosen picked me, and he says, hey man, I think you'd be a fine manager. And then I went to school. Well, I call it school, with excuse me, with Al Addles on coaching. And Bill Walsh had really helped me in my coaching career early.
Wow. Okay. From other sports. What was it like? Again, I want to jump in here. All right, so you start managing. It was the same year Barry Bonds arrives, correct? So now, Barry, what was it like? Because we hear so much about Barry. What was it like managing Barry Bonds?
Well, hey man, you just let Barry Bonds play. I mean, Barry's like a thoroughbred. I held Barry the day he was born almost, and my dad was Bobby Bonds' little league coach, and Bobby was one of my coaches, so it was kind of like a family reunion.
Clearly
Sometimes
the
Barry
gold
was tough to
standard
manage,
in
but
baseball.
all superstars and all racehorses, sometimes they don't want to be ridden. You just have to let them play, and then they'll come back in when they're when it's time to eat or when they're hungry.
All right, Jeff Kent goes into the Hall of Fame this summer, Dusty. So what is that? What was that like? That whole scene that we hear about?
Well, it happened. I just told him, hey man, I told him go on the inside, because brothers fight. I've never been on a really good team that didn't have some kind of skirmish, but just don't do it out in the public. But you're not caring about that, when tempers flare. And so, they made up. We won. Which was the objective. And I told them both that they were similar in a lot of ways. I mean, they were different, but they were similar. Yeah. And they kind of remind me of Tony Curtis and Sidney Poitier back in the movies, back in the days when they were handcuffed together, and if one went over the cliff, the other one went over the cliff. So it was a pleasure having both of them, because what Barry didn't drive in, Jeff drove in, and Jeff was our clutch man on that team. I mean, Barry was the best player by far, but Jeff Kent was a clutch man.
This year on the Veterans Committee for the Hall of Fame, speaking of the Hall of Fame, managers and executives, you should be on that ballot. You're a pretty good shot. You have any thoughts on that? Do you give any thought to that, Dusty?
Not really. I don't give, a lot of other people, talk to me about it. I don't give a whole bunch of thought to that, just simply because, when it comes, it comes. And, you sort of guard yourself. You don't want to be disappointed.
Right.
And when I saw Bill Belichick get denied, I was like, man, anybody can get denied.
Yeah, I don't expect that. But, right, you have to guard yourself against that. But, Dusty, we'll look forward to the book coming out, again, June 9th, and it should be fascinating. You have a full, rich life and so much ahead. Dusty, great having you on here. We'd love to talk to you again, and good luck with the release of the book.
All right, thank you, man. Hey, man, that suit is clean. You're looking good, bro.
Thank you, Dusty. Al Leiter doesn't compliment me at all. Do you realize that? Thank you, I appreciate that. Thank you, Dusty. It's from Dusty himself. Thank you, Dusty. I appreciate it. It's somewhat real. Dusty's an interesting guy, isn't he?
Dusty's awesome.
You could
kind
go
of like
on
Bobby
and on.
Cox. You've never heard a guy play for him that doesn't love him.
That's amazing. All right, so let's kick it around here. I just reacting to Dusty Baker, we just spoke to. Shohei Ohtani is going for it on the mound. You can see it's clear what he's doing, right? And he's been great. 0.97 ERA. You know where I knew he was going for it, Dero? When he was pitching 6 in spring training, 6 innings. So look, he's killing it. However, look at his slash line at 363 on base, 404 slugging. It's
he's
a
struggling, BK.
So, no, Dero's hitting 111 in May with a 139 slug, meaning he's not even doing it with power. So I've been saying this for years, and I'm the bad guy, that when he was slugging 500, I said, okay, do both and do your best.
Yeah.
Because that's still a remarkable achievement. When he started slugging 600, which he's done 3 straight years, he's now the best offensive player in the league. You're sacrificing a lot. We're seeing it now, and I think they're going to eventually have to choose something. Is that true, or am I overreacting?
No, I don't think they have to choose something. I just think he needs to put more eggs in the offensive basket, just because of the way the Dodgers are built. I don't think they necessarily need him to be great on the mound to win a World Series.
But
it's
offensively,
been proven they need him to be great offensively.
Right.
2024, 54 and 130. 2025, 55 and 102. In 24, he was hurt and couldn't pitch. Yeah, let me steal 59 bases. I know he's trying to win a Cy Young. I still think Yamamoto, Snell, Glasnow, Sheehan, Robleski, Cesar, they can cover it. You're not giving the ball, in my opinion, to Ohtani game 1 of every postseason series you're going to play. So why are we so fixated on? And
everybody tells me, but it's the greatest thing ever. I'm like, yeah, but it is the greatest thing ever. But it comes at a cost. And if the cost is he's the 20th best offensive player in the league, okay, but he's the number 1 offensive player in the league.
That's the thing.
You saw on that graphic, base running runs. He was number 1 in baseball in base running runs that one year. He can do so much for you. This goes back to
there's too much
we're talking
depth.
about it. You know what we would do? Have him open. Have him, again, no one wants to hear that. Or if your solution would be what? Pitch every 2 weeks?
Massage it.
All right,
Massage it. I want him right,
but he stays sharp.
I think he calls the shots.
Maybe it comes out to he's relieving after all this.
If he says he wants to win a Cy Young, they're going to.
He's after that now. All right.
He's a revenue generator.
2 managers fired in April.
Yeah.
You, as
ridiculous.
You said, you canceled.
But I understand.
Right. They came after you, too. Do we put too much? Do we have like an 1890s mentality about the manager where it's Connie Mack in his, straw hat, where he's the one guy, when we know the guys who got fired, it's not. It's roster construction. It's a GM's game. Is it too much blame?
It is a GM's game. No, I don't know if there's too much blame. I just think there's too much vitriol and too much quick to judgment on social media with the way the world is now. I mean, in Canada, I would have loved a game against Canada. I would have loved to have run out Clay Holmes following Logan Webb and saved my pen for the final 2 games. I wasn't allowed to do that. Right, so I had to burn my pen, and it cost us in the final.
So you're saying hearing from GMs what your constraints that you're under?
Yeah, I think for me it's a matter of massaging the GMs, but the public not understanding what's going on behind the scenes. And I think like last night I watched the Yankees. They bring in Hedrick. I didn't love the move, but understood it. Booney takes heat on a daily basis. You got to lose some battles to win the war in totality.
Right.
Trevor Rogers.
He was bringing a guy with a 1.70 ERA, whatever it was.
I know
he gave it up, but in hindsight.
Yeah.
Right. But I just think, like, when we know, hey, Philadelphia and Boston, like, we know it's not the manager's fault, but they get fired, and we go, oh, yeah, good, he got fired. Oh, not good.
I brought Tyler Rogers in against the Dominican. No one loved the move. He grounded into a double play. Juan Soto, we were a genius, and then we don't score any runs in the finals, and I'm a buffoon against Venezuela.
Yeah.
It's the way it works. It's a little much for me. I'm not saying the Phillies didn't jumpstart or need a kick in the tush, but Rob Thompson was not a bad manager. He won more than 60% of his games.
Yeah. You feel burned by it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm willing to die on it for him, for the boys.
This is interesting with the manager, A.J. Hinch, not down with Framber Valdez hitting Trevor Story. And I thought it was fascinating in that he said, like, they had to go out on the field, they had to fight for this guy. And he said, if you go out on the field, you want to feel good about it. He didn't feel good about it. And so my question is the culture changing? And because the main question is, do you have to fight for a teammate whose actions you're not down with? Meaning, right, like, hey, my guy is wrong. Do you still have to fight for that guy?
Publicly, you have to fight for him. Privately, you want to.
Is it changing a little bit? This generation might be a little different.
I hope not. I think the generation is changing a little bit. I hope not. You got to have your teammates back at all costs, and then underneath the tunnel, we'll address it.
But you and I are from the same hood in different boroughs, right? And you go into there are times you go into either a game or a bar with friends where don't start trouble, and you have that one guy who's starting trouble, and then you're like, do I have to fight for this guy? And you want to think, I'm not backing you up. Whatever you do is on you. So I understand if you're a baseball player, so you say, hey, he hits the guy, he did that, let him deal with it.
I thought A.J. Hinch handled that perfectly. He got his shot across without totally killing him.
Yeah. But you could say he didn't quite have his back.
There's great players, bad teammates. I've been around them.
Yeah. So do you have to? But you have to go fight for that guy, even if you don't feel.
I'm not throwing punches. I'll play peacemaker in that situation.
Grab someone medium size.
Absolutely, and we'll do the dance
and deal with that. I wonder. Remember, Everybody Wants Some, the movie? That was the classic of you have a teammate you loathe, and he's a troublemaker. Do you have to? And the message in the movie, this is the 70s they were talking about. You have to. No, he's your teammate. You must fight for him. It's a fascinating dilemma.
Not in all circumstances.
Okay.
But publicly, yes.
Okay.
You got to have his back.
All right, we'll let you go. Thanks for keeping the suit on.
No tie, though.
Appreciate that.
I let you down.
No, you look good.
All right.
Good. Yeah. We'll take a short break.